What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video today. We're gonna talk about the New York Knicks and Kevin Knox, a guy that I was high on going into the draft. I thought for sure he was going to be a Clipper. Sometimes people had him going up in the 8 or 9 spot, which he ended up going ninth. Some people had him going 12th, 11th, or 13th. He was not guaranteed to be a top 10 pick. He was a guy that showed a lot of potential. Didn't really dominate the game of college. Didn't really have that many dominant, crazy games. He's a guy that you see a lot now. The long, lanky defenders, the Tony Snells, the Chris Middletons, even some people compared to the Jason Tatum. And we don't know how good he will be. It's just the fact that he's going to New York. He's going to have a lot of hype just because he's a lottery pick and he's on one of the biggest franchises in the game. Even though they're down right now, they haven't really been winning. They needed somebody to be at that wing position. I like some of the pickups that they made over the years. I still think they have a long way to go when it comes to making the playoffs. Obviously, they was close when Porzingis was healthy. They was competing for a playoff spot, but then he went down. They ended up finishing 29 and 53. This roster is loaded, but they're not really committed to anybody long term. Not even Porzingis right now, but we don't know how good and how healthy he will be in the future because he has suffered a major injury and he was dominating, putting up some amazing numbers, and even was an all-star. One of their biggest things to me was lacking that potential franchise player, that potential guy to come with Porzingis. He didn't really have nobody developing that showed dominance, or they can become something better. Obviously they got Tim Hardaway Jr., but he's very undersized and he's more of a heat check player, not really a franchise guy, not really a franchise cornerstone. Frank Ntilikina, he's a guy that they thought would be a point guard. He looks better as a 3 and D guy at the shooting guard position, but we don't know how good he will be. He's a guy that plays solid, but he shows signs. But he doesn't really have that superstar potential right now. I don't really see it in him. But Kevin Knox is one of those guys where he has the physical attribute. He has the rare skill of a guy that can shoot. Most guys that come into the league really can't shoot that much, and or not a great shooter. And at least you have a guy that has a solid foundation, jumping wise and shooting wise. And even though he had comparisons to like Wesley Johnson, kind of like Mikal Bridges too, a guy that's long and lanky and that can shoot. A lot of those guys don't become superstars in the league. A lot of those guys become role players. But Knox is just something different. If he can really get that fight, if he can really get that aggressive attitude that nobody can stop him, that confidence is basically what I'm saying. I can really see this guy being a special pick for the Knicks. They need another guy underneath Porzingis or even above him because they had Carmelo and Derrick Rose, but Porzingis didn't really do as much until he got this year, which ended up tearing his ACL. But you need to continue to get these potential stars, or even a star given like Luka Doncic is projected to be a star in the best sure thing. I think Knox was a pick that I would definitely took if I was the Clippers if he would have fell that low. But a lot of people have him going there. But one thing I would say is this guy has unlimited potential with that size and that body and that athleticism. He can blow past people. He has the floaters. He need to polish that up a little bit better and be more consistent with the floaters. But at least he knows that he can make that shot, and that's going to be a shot that translate to the game because it's not that it's good in college, but it's a shot that he will always have, especially with the floor being more open in the NBA and having the three-point shooters. He will always have a chance to beat somebody off a dribble if they close out on him hard, and he can just always go back to that floater. That's something that he needs to continue to polish up and continue to keep because he's going to need that. Another thing is playing off the ball. That's something that he needs to polish up a whole lot because he can really make a living off coming off screens and knocking down mid-range jumpers and three-point shots, because he's going to be a guy that's playing with another all-star. He's going to be a guy that's going to have to play off of Porzingis and other players so that way he can shine. He might not be the 20, 25 point scorer right away, or he might not ever reach that, but he can still be a productive player just by doing the little things, just by, continuing to move the ball, looking for open shots, continuing to not just stay in one area, but move around, cut sometimes, go to the other 3 point line, giving space to a guy like Porzingis or Moutier, for example, because those little things give you opportunity to score easy baskets. I think that's something that, as a rookie and as a sophomore, he needs to focus on the most, is trying to maneuver and trying to find ways to get easier baskets. That's something that he really didn't do to me in college. He took a lot of contested jumpers, a lot of forced jumpers, a lot of shots that he shouldn't have been taking, but he mostly did it because he's still learning, and he's not as smart or don't have the basketball IQ and the knowledge yet. So he settles and thinks that he can make these shots when in the NBA it's going to be harder and more tougher, because you're going against bigger, better, more athletic players. When you go to the NBA, everybody's lanky, everybody's long, and everybody can contest your shot quicker because they can get out to you quicker. So that's going to be a huge learning curve for him, learning when to score, learning when to settle. He shouldn't settle that much, but you can't really help it late in the shot clock, or you got to create something fast. But that ability to run off screens and move without the basketball and play without the basketball, whether you're a spot up mid-range scorer or just hitting open threes, he has to really find a lot of those shots his rookie and sophomore year to have that, build his confidence that he knows he can get those potential shots off consistently. And if he's able to go into this camp and into summer league knowing and showing that he can get these shots off consistently, I would definitely like that. Like I said, I will be going to summer league. I'm gonna be looking at those type of things. Can Knox continue to do this? Can Knox really get these shots off? Can Knox be a defender? Let's be real. He has a physical attribute: 9 inch reach, 6'9", two. I think he was he's not that little. He's a big guard. Let me find it real quick. He's a bigger small forward too. He's not the skinniest guy. His body might look like it because he's 6'9", but he's actually 213 pounds, coming in out of Kentucky, a Division I school. The problem though with him in this draft position is that he is so raw. Look at a guy like DeMar DeRozan and stuff like that. They had to take years to get to where they wanted, but they still kept putting in the work. They still got better every year. They added every year, and they became dominant. Kevin Knox is a guy that's either going to become a bust because he didn't work hard enough and try hard enough and wanted enough, or he will become an all-star, not just because he's in the East, but because he maximized his physical attributes, he maximized his ability to shoot, he maximized his shot selection, and got the basketball IQ how to take over a game and do it efficiently. He might not be a 50% scorer like Kevin Durant or LeBron. I'm not asking him to do that. But he's a guy that can always be a threat on the court because of his shooting and his athleticism and his length, especially with those floaters having a 9-inch wingspan. His jump shots and his floaters around the basket should be damn near automatic, because even if you're 6'5", you can just jump up and just throw the ball in the rim. You can jump up and just tap in the mid-range jumper. And he did a lot of that in college. But that's something he's like I said, is going to be very important for him to continue to master. So the things I'm looking for him in summer league is, how is he going to get his shots? Will he continue to settle? Is he going to develop that body, length and size wise? He need to get that body a little chiseled, get in better shape, because he's going to play a lot of minutes probably in New York, because they don't really have any franchise small forwards right now on the roster. Yes, they have a couple of small forwards, but Knox has the most potential on that roster, and they need size and length. And he has the ability to switch because he can guard the 2, the 3, or the 4. That makes him even more valuable because of his athleticism and his size and his reach. He can contest point guards and shooting guards and make it tough for them because he is taller and longer than them. But not only that, he can also compete with the threes and the fours because he has the length and the size, but he has the athleticism to stay in front of them and make shots tough. So that's going to be another thing that we're going to possibly see him develop, and that could be a steal if he can develop into that two-way type of player. Something that the Knicks had got with Ntilikina, but Knox is just as much of a project as he is. He probably might can come in and give you double digits, something that Ntilikina couldn't really do. But I feel like the Knicks, with Porzingis going out, they should keep trying players like Moutier and Knox because you're desperately looking for another superstar because you can't really sign one in free agency because it seems like none of them wants to go to New York. But you can still develop these guys and become superstars and become franchise potential playing guys. And that's special that you can still have potential at the 9 spot to get a guy like Knox that can develop into one of the better players in the league, especially if the coaching staff stay on him and he wants to be great. The sky is the limit for this guy. But like I said, he has high bust potential, but he also is a high reward guy. Ain't like you took him with the number 3 pick or the number 1 pick. You took him with the number 9 pick, and that's different. So he's a guy that we know has a lot of work to put in, has a lot of room to grow, and we all feel like he's going to achieve that. And that's hope, but it's not guaranteed. And that's why I think that I like Knox. I like what he can do. I like his potential. I can see what he becomes, but that doesn't mean that he will, and that doesn't mean that he will end up being the steal of the draft or the best player of the draft. He just has the assets and the tools to become whatever he wants to be if he has the work ethic and he wants it enough. And if he can do either one of those things, he will be a great player in this league, I promise you. So check out my website, analysisPlayground.com. Check out my Facebook page, analysisPlayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. And like I said, like on Facebook to show support. Also, like I said, check out my website. It's almost redone and repolished. I'm going to do some more maintenance and some polishing up on my website. After that, go back on there and check. It'll be updated.